Welcome, ghouls and ghosts, minions and mortals. Welcome to the spookiest, most terrifying, most horrifying, most bone-chilling podcast this side of the Rio Grande. That's right. It is the Lords of the Trident Spooky Cast! Yes, adjusting my camera so you don't see all of my fatness. Good. Well, hello everyone. I want to say hi to everybody who is here in the and Devi Levatis, Devi. Sorry. There are some people that are just joining quickly. Our good friends from Cabaret. I always say that. I always say Cabaret Curiosa are here, and then they're gonna have to go off to bed because it's probably 3 a.m. in Vienna right now. But you have made it to the start of a yearly tradition that, unfortunately, this year is cut a little short. Because of 2020, the TRIDENTCast October edition, aka the Spooky Cast, the world's most bone-chilling Lords of the Trident cast. And here comes the master of ceremonies himself, the Baron, the spooky Baron, has arrived in his decrepit dungeon of doom.
The low definition makes it spooky.
So hey, everybody,
am I low def right now?
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Oh, there you go. Now you're back.
That is not Michi in the back. That is a cushion, but Michi is in the back somewhere. She's hanging down here somewhere. But anyway, I was just explaining how this is our yearly tradition of being as spooky as possible here on the Spookcast for October, and this is right. Oh, and here is the evil doom slayer himself, Mr. Akira Shimada. Oh, super spooky. Let me move him so you can see more of his face. His spooky face. He is here.
Are we live?
We are live. Oh, we're live. Ooh.
Hey, Aki.
Hey, Brent.
So anyway, welcome everyone. I want to give a big shout out to everybody who's watching. We got 21 on YouTube, 4 on Twitch. We got a bunch of our good friends in the house. Pants Queen is here, of course. Mr. Radiant is good. Mr. Good Radiant is here. We got Truffle 85 in the house. We got Pat's Punk Playhouse. We got Larry, good old Larry. We got Dez. We got a ton of friends here, hanging out for the world's spookiest, most bone-chilling podcast, the Lords of the Trident Spooky Cast in October. And to kick us off, I know everybody has been clamoring for this, so I wanted to just read a little bit from the most bone-chilling periodical that I could find, which, of course, is Catholic Forester. I just got my Catholic Forester edition in the mail recently, and I read a little bit on the Twitch stream on Monday for our Sega CD stream. But I would have to say, of all of the, many articles in this month, Catholic Forester magazine, my favorite, and I will say this is an absolute staple of Catholic Forester magazine, is the alliteration, doubling down on derecho devastation. Right, that article front to back, that was a must read. So if you're subscribed to Catholic Forester magazine like I am, then make sure to check out doubling down on derecho devastation. Aki, do you want to say something bone chilling to start us off here?
Oh, something bone chilling?
Yeah, something bone chilling.
Well, I just listened to a very interesting article on NPR where someone tried eating some Twinkies that they had left alone in their basement for 8 years. And contrary to the stereotype that Twinkies last forever and are the best apocalypse food, they actually caught a fungus, and the cream filling was fine, but the cake around the filling molded up, and even in a vacuum seal, it turned into like a morel mushroom.
And then he died. Theme song.
Yes.
He is probably.
No. It like looked like a morel mushroom.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
And-
like there were 4 Twinkies and they were of different states, but one was like all shrunk up.
It's a great science experiment.
Yeah, I mean, literally, the reason there's the article there is it actually caught the attention of a couple scientists, I think at like West Virginia University in Morgantown, where we played.
Yeah.
But so they actually experimented it, and they used a here's the crazy thing: they used a bone biopsy tool to biopsy the Twinkie.
It's pretty metal.
That is pretty metal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, enough about Twinkies as much as we love them.
Yeah, well, welcome everybody to this wonderful bone-chilling podcast that we've got going on here right now. We're talking about Twinkies. We got Catholic Forester readings going on. It's a regular old October podcast, and I was just saying how, I feel bad because normally we're all together and we get to do the dry ice and we get to do the black lights and we get to make it really spooky down here in the practice space. So, unfortunately, since we're not able to do that, we're going to have to bring a lot more bone-chilling tales to this, our Spooky Cast podcast this month.
You don't have any dry ice?
I don't have any dry ice on hand at the moment. I just went to the grocery store. I should have bought some dry ice. I don't know what I was thinking.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
Yeah. Come on. Didn't any of you guys buy any dry ice? Come on. So let's start off with an absolutely horribly chilling tale of terror and deceit, because earlier this month many people rose from the dead, got onto their computers, and voted Brian Koenig as the guitarist of the year. Oh!
Utterly terrifying.
The dead are they've raised the dead and they're voting Republican.
Come on, I'm not that bad.
No. This is Simpsons quote. So,
right.
Yeah. But yes, congratulations. Our good old Baron here has been rated correctly by the people of Madison, Wisconsin, as finally as the guitarist of the year 2020. Brian, what do you have to say for yourself?
I have to say that a lot of other people probably did way more work in terms of hitting the pavement and trying to get people to sign up and vote for them, because I didn't. I remember seeing a lot of people on Facebook talking about, hey, give the mama some money and vote for me. And I remember it was the very last day of voting. I'm like, how about that? So I Andrew and I did it real quick, and then I kind of forgot about it. And like, well, I guess if you have to do it like you mean it next year if you want it, but I guess it worked out anyway. I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful that I won. That's super cool. Once again, anyone out there who managed to drop a mama's vote for me, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And it feels pretty good to get a little bit of recognition. So
when they asked you your favorite solo, what did you say?
I mean, there was a long interview process, to determine.
I can't think of one off the top of my head. So I'm just gonna say Neuromancers by Pear off the last Scar Symmetry.
Good choice.
It's really well constructed, awesome solo.
Yeah. So for those of you who are not in the Madison, Wisconsin area and are wondering what we're talking about with the Mamas is the Madison Area Music Association. It is a charity that runs a citywide, kind of almost like the Grammys every year. And we do all sorts of different awards with the purpose of raising money to put music education and music instruments in local schools. So to kind of offset some of the general issues with funding, right? In public schools, we raise money to do music education. So I've been involved with the Mamas for many, many, many years, and I'm actually now I'm not only am I the website guy and the guy who does all the graphics and videos, I am also now the host of the Mamas. And this year, like many things, we did our Mamas all digital, or at least the award show. It was all digital. We did it at Hinckley Productions, which is a local video production house here. And we didn't have, normally we have this whole like intro thing where we're all planning on, we do a big video or we do a big musical number or something. This year I kind of forgot to make an intro. I did everything else, but I forgot to make an intro. So at the last minute, we decided that I was going to pretend that I was really drunk when the Mamas started. And we even like texted the person who was in charge of putting together the award show like 5 minutes before we were supposed to go live. I texted her. I said, "Hey, Beth, do you know a good way to get sober really, really fast? Please let me know." And she just started blowing up my phone with, "Wait, why? What's going on?" And then we went live, and I'm like, "Hey, everybody, welcome to the Mamas. I'm Cy. I'm your host, and you look great. I can't see you, but I'm sure you look fabulous. And I ended up chugging on screen. I ended up chugging one of those Starbucks double shot. I said I got a special limited edition like 16x double shot, and so I chugged it, and then all of a sudden I was sober. So
that's how it works.
That's how it works.
It's definitely a thing. But the Mamas, one of their main goals is to help make sure that kids can get instruments to play and learn on, and that's super cool. So once again, super awesome. I was really not expecting to win anything. I don't usually expect to win anything. Winning awards is not at all why I do what I do, but the recognition is always really nice. So
we had a couple of questions here in the chat. Donovan asked, "Do you still have the flamethrowers?" I do. Yep, we still have the flame, and we'll get to that. And of course, our good friend Jonathan Colnott has just joined us in the chat. Congrats, Brian. Thank you. It's. I didn't know you could chug Starbucks. I didn't know either until they put me on camera, and I decided to do it. So there you go. So let's continue our jaunt down spooky lane by suddenly, unexpectedly shocking our rhythm section man with his mic off.
Oh, you're early.
I know.
The first time we've done it. Wow, this early.
See, yeah. I wanted to shock you because it's a spooky, shocking cast. So this is.
It should have been a whoo, better, you better.
Whoa, all right. Oh, you better.
You Brett.
TRIDENTCast, that's for sure.
So what better you do, Brett?
Well, I think it's all pretty obvious right now, folks. I think y'all need to go out and vote.
I used that last month.
Well, I wasn't there last month, so it doesn't matter. This month.
Yeah, still do it though.
Yeah, I think that is the underlying most important thing that anybody can do right now. We can fix the situation that we're in, hopefully, or at least try to put it in direction that is at least a little bit more enjoyable for everybody. But
I know that sounds super weird. I voted by mail for the first time this year. And on one hand, it's nice to do it, but I know this sounds really weird because there's COVID and everything, but I'm kind of bummed out. I actually, in retrospect, I think I would have just voted in person just because, I don't know, like, it's just like, I know it sounds really corny, but it's an experience. Like, I don't know.
You feel like you're doing your duty.
Yeah, I genuinely like enjoy being able to go out and do it and be like, I did it. And it's a different kind of people watching too, you know? There's a going to Woodman's or Walmart kind of people watching, and then there's like voting day watching. And it's different.
There's also, I mean, Wisconsin now has early in-person voting at like a bunch of different places around the state. Madison has like 14 different places. It's obviously not as going to your normal local place, but you can at least, they even do drive-up voting apparently. But yes, that's kind of helpful how they've worked that in to deal with the whole COVID situation. But
Yeah, so if you haven't voted yet, please do. And also, if you're in Wisconsin and you haven't returned your absentee ballot yet, if you had one, you can't put it in the mail anymore. You gotta drop it off at the municipal clerk's office, which you should probably do anyway. It just kind of saves a step. Heidi and I definitely we voted like end of September. Like I got my oh yeah, you got a doggy there. Hi, doggy. We got our ballot and we voted, and I just dropped it off, and we were all like set and good. So it was good. So that's a great segue. That if you voted, right, and you took a picture of yourself with your unmarked ballot, like we were telling you to do, or if you just go down in front of one of your polling places, one of your voting places, and take a selfie, you are eligible to join us for the I Voted concerts series that starts on election night on November 3rd. We are playing the Wisconsin stage at 3 p.m. and this is the world's biggest digital concert festival ever. Is on election night, the I Voted concerts. If you want to check it out, ivotedconcerts.com. It's us. It's like a crap ton of other bands, and it's free.
Here Come the Mummies.
Yeah, Here Come the Mummies.
That's one of the standouts that I saw.
Red Hot Chili Peppers is going to be on there. The return of oh God, what's the name of the Amanda Palmer's old band? What was the name of? Do you guys remember Amanda Palmer's old band? Dresden Dolls. That's it. The Dresden Dolls are actually getting back together like for one night to do this thing. So very interesting thing. Yeah. So so check that out. ivotedconcerts.com. Go there and you can watch an exclusive set from your Lords of the Trident. And we've got all sorts of different stuff going on there. Also, that's also a separate good segue to talk about something else that we just decided actually recently. So we've been doing a whole crap ton of streaming, right? We're streaming right now, obviously, but we've been doing a full band concert every month. I've been streaming every Monday, doing Sega CD stuff. We do this TRIDENTCast at the last Wednesday of every month. We've been doing the Baron Solo Shred sessions on the last Sunday of every month. So, all told, on a normal month, we're streaming like 7 times in a month, which is pretty awesome and crazy, considering. So we are, we're pretty deep into the writing of the next album, but we still have a bunch of songs that we want to kind of work out. A lot of stuff that actually Aki has put together that we haven't had a chance to work on yet. And we were actually, just before just before we got together here, we were down in the basement working on one of Aki's new songs, which is, I think is going to be amazing. I really like a bunch of those riffs. But we talked about it and we decided as a band that we're going to just kind of adjust our streaming schedule for the next couple months so that we can focus specifically on finishing the writing or getting as close as possible to finish the writing for this new album. So what that means is this next coming month, right, in November, that I Voted concert on election night, that's going to be our live stream for the month in terms of a full concert. I'm still going to be streaming every Monday, but we're not going to have a solo shred session that month. Instead, I'm going to be doing another Drunken Quarantine karaoke. I don't know if you guys saw the announcement with Cool Youth Pastor Greg. But I'm going to be doing the Drunken Quarantine karaoke on November 28th. So make sure you get on the Discord and give us suggestions for songs for me to sing. That's going to take the place of the Baron Solo Shred sessions that month. Then in December, we originally had slated to do a full band live stream and also a Patreon private party. What we're going to do instead is we're going to move the full band live stream idea into the Patreon private party. So we're only doing a live stream that month just for the Patreon backers. So if you want to watch that concert live, if you want to participate, make sure to go to patreon.com/Swords of the Trident. It's right up above me right now. And sign up for anything, even $1, and you can watch that concert and yell things at us in the chat. It's gonna be fun. So we're gonna basically kind of pull back a bit on some of the live streaming for the next couple months, so that we have an availability to kind of really hammer down some of the new stuff and get this album done sooner. We kind of figured generally that people would be more interested in having the next album in their hands sooner rather than, having us bend over backwards to do all these live streams more often. So
yeah. I think, Ty, I think all you guys made really good points, but especially we are discussing this as a band. We always try to discuss these things, and I think Brian and Brent made really good points about how, really with all our busy schedules, we only have time for one practice a week, and basically the 1 or 2 practices before a live stream need to be tightening up the material where we run through the set, and when we play shows, we're playing in different cities and whatnot, and we can actually play the same set over and over again, maybe changing one song or whatnot. But with these live streams, we want to bring you guys multiple new songs or just different songs or whatnot, and that definitely takes more time to get those ready to play and whatnot. And so
unique sets that isn't just the exact same 7 songs like over and over and over. So or whatever.
Yeah, that was a good point.
So Brent, when you made that, you showed like the schedule of practices every month, and Brian, you mentioned the whole thing about the set list changing and whatnot. It really made me think, and I think it's the best call for us as a band. It's really rewarding, but I think it's really good for all our listeners too, is that we can at least get these new ideas out there, and then it gives us time actually the next few months to further flush them out well. So in
a perfect world, we could have time to do all of that, but then there's actually the world we live in, even a world that is stymied by quarantining and COVID. We only have so many hours to work with, unfortunately. Right. So
hey, we just got a super chat from Pat's Punk Playhouse. I want to, for those of you who are joining us for the first time for your first TRIDENTcast, the rules are: if you send a super chat or cheer with bits, or if you donate at lordsofthetrident.com/tips, we all take a drink. And Pat has a question, but before we do that, I want to ask what everybody's drinking tonight. I'm going to start off here. This is the new Amon Amarth beer called the Skol. And it is a imperial porter brewed with honey, cocoa nibs, guajillo, and chipotle peppers, and aged on oak, and it's actually really, really nice. So
nice.
I like it. This is my first time trying. I literally just bought it, and it's really good.
Yeah.
I had it while we were doing the writing, and I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie, I think like my mind was set on like showing you and Brian the riffs and whatnot. So, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah, Brett, what are you drinking?
I've got Bat Squatch from Rogue.
The
IPA. It's good.
And Brian, what do you got?
Moon Man, I'm together with your plan. Save me.
I save.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make everyone listen to that.
Aki, what are you drinking?
I'm doing the last of my Four Roses small batch bourbon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. No, I think Four Roses is pretty solid. And I do prefer the Buffalo Trace Distillery.
Right. And Brent, you got triple distilled water, right?
No, I've got non-alcoholic Klaus Holler dry hopped beer.
All right. Well, This one is to Pat's Punk Playhouse. Thank you, Pat. Cheers, everybody. Woo!
Thanks, Pat.
So Pat had a question. My band's just started a podcast. Advice. So the number one thing that I think I would advise you to do is until you guys start getting a flow of like talking, because it can be kind of jarring, right? Just kind of talking out to the ether, and especially if you're doing it live, like we are, doing it live stream. It's a different feel, like talking amongst yourselves in private and then talking in public. So the thing that I think really kind of greases the wheels is if you have like planned out segments that are fun things to talk about. So like you better you Brett, or Aki's cat picture of the month, or like we're gonna talk about soon our favorite spooky movies and video games that we've played this Spooktober. So I'd say getting together like a plan ahead of time of things that you want to talk about, not necessarily saying what you're going to talk about, but just a plan of like a loose thing. That's what I would say.
Talking points, yes.
Yeah, I was
question.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, I was just wondering has there ever been a point in history where someone speaking like that was legitimately scary? Like in the 1830s, if someone was like, "Woo," would people be like, "Ah"?
I wonder.
Okay.
I suppose the only thing I know of the 1900s is that everyone went around talking like this, you see, right? So you'd get me a bag of blintzes for 5 cents, and then if somebody came up and like, "I will suck your blood," they'd be like, "What are you talking about there, mister? I don't understand your little dialect."
Right.
I bet Vincent Price in his prime doing that, but like with the bassy like intensity, could probably be pretty spooky. Before like there were 17 Saw movies and Jason and Freddy and bullshit.
Right. Brett, the chat is screaming for you to give the dog a treat constantly.
I know, but he's actually weird with treats, and he'd rather get attention and kisses.
Oh.
Seriously, he's like, he has to overanalyze everything you give him, and like.
So it's kind of like you're giving him a treat right now, technically, by giving him.
He wants attention.
Okay.
Start to derail.
For Patrick, I would say, thinking back, this isn't advice per se, but thinking back to when we began, I think we didn't really know how this was going to go at first. So if it takes a couple podcasts to kind of formulate and come together, that's perfectly fine. If your first maybe even half a dozen podcasts only end up being like two people out there, don't worry about it. It will hopefully grow and develop. So don't be afraid to start small, I guess, and let it grow and develop as it will.
That's great advice.
From being not on the tech end of things, that would be what I could say.
Yeah.
I was just going to add to kind of what Ty was saying is, literally, I hope you don't mind me saying, Ty, but I mean, literally when we did the podcast at your place before COVID struck, I mean, you'd literally always print out a sheet of paper, just like you print out set lists on a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
With a list of an agenda, and it doesn't have to be really in depth. I mean, literally, it's just it can be little bullet points, but I think it really does help. It does help you keep on task, and I think it's okay to have different topics and end up spending more time on them than you think. But I think it is good to have a general framework for what you're going to talk about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll add one more real quick. The first couple of podcasts. Or if you want just a general advice, if you're talking and you're doing this, try to stay off your phone. I was really bad the first couple of podcasts about checking my phone, and Andrea watched and was just like, "You look like an asshole right now being on your phone. You should knock it off." And I went back and watched, and she was totally right. So honestly, yeah, like put your phone down and just focus on what you're doing. It's a better way.
Brian and Mackenzie would yell at me all the time. It's like, stop looking at your phone.
Yep. It is rude if you're doing this and you're on your phone. Just don't do it.
Yep.
Hey, we got
You
a
can make
super
out
chat.
with your dog though.
Got a super chat from Jinx. You are all beautiful human beings and you are loved. We love you too. Cheers to
Thank
Jinx.
you. Likewise.
Everybody tuning into this podcast is automatically a beautiful human being, and we love you. So
It's true.
since the chat is clamoring for more animal content,
Clamoring.
I think since the chat is just clamoring for more animal content, we need to transition over to the number one most requested podcast segment of the entire podcast universe of Lords of the Trident, which contains only one podcast, but you never know. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Aki's cat picture of the month. Here it is. Bada bing, bada bam. And Aki, you've got two pictures.
Same cat.
It's the same cat. Look, I'm on picture number one. Wow, look at that tail. That is a tail there.
I love thick tails.
Can you give us some info on this cat, Aki?
Yeah, so I actually, I don't really care for cutesy pics of animals in general, but also I try to kind of avoid the cat pictures on Reddit or Imgur that have just thousands of upvotes. I find the quirky ones that really appeal to me. And this one was from someone that lives along the Norwegian and Swedish border. And this is their cat. I'm guessing it's a pronunciation. It's their cat Pelle, P-E-L-L-E.
Uh-huh.
And I looked it up. That actually...
Pelle.
Yeah. Is that it? Pelle?
Yeah, Pelle.
Pelle. And that actually, it's funny that Brian mentioned Per, Nilsson, the guitarist, because I didn't actually realize that Per and Pelle are both basically Scandinavian variants of Peter.
Oh.
And Pelle is actually like a pet version, a pet name. Is actually classified when I looked it up on Wikipedia, at least. It's a pet version of Peter.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I really love autumn. It's my favorite season. I used to not care for it because I used to associate it with lack of freedom going back to school and whatnot when I was a kid. But I love it now. I love the colors of leaves, the crisp leaves you step on, the cool, crisp weather. And this cat, like, oh my God, that tail. It's almost bordering on like my mom's cat Butter's tail. It's like nice and thick, like a baseball bat.
The first one has some great lighting.
And I love
too.
look how nice and pointy the ears of the cat are, and how and the wonder in its eyes. I'm just very inspired by his cat picture. At work, when I send out emails to the team, I always include a daily cat picture, and I had to already include this cat twice because I just I was just filled with wonder when I saw this cat picture.
Man, that's great, and I love that you have two variants of the same cat. That's really great.
It was that good. I just needed to include it.
Yeah.
I felt very obligated by it. I want to say too, someone said dog butt, and it made me think of one of my favorite Bob's Burgers episodes. I think it was only the second episode that ever came out. Might have been the third, and that's the one where Bob's what's the name of Bob's wife and her sister Linda and her crazy sister Gail starts painting. I know it's been forever since I watched Bob's Burgers, but does the painting of all the animal anuses.
Yeah.
And Tina sees the horse anus and Tina goes horse butt. And it made me think of that. So that was wonderful.
Sarah in the chat said, "Can we make that a thing? Daily Aki cat emails. We should investigate that as a perk on the Lords of the Trident Patreon."
I don't know. I'm already working 50 hours a week, so
Yep.
there's got to be another incentive.
Hey, we got 100 bits from our good friend Joseph. Joseph Radiant. Cheers to Joseph. Yeah.
Hey, Larry gave us $5 too.
And also, yeah,
Yes.
I was just getting there. Larry also gave us $5. Cheers to Larry. Larry the steadfast.
Thank
In
you,
Larry the steadfast we trust.
Yes, and his advice, devise a reward system.
Yep, that's a good idea.
If as the money comes in, you suffer a little bit more each time.
Joseph had a question attached to his bits. Have y'all ever heard of the pivot questionnaire? Ever answered it? I have not. I don't know what that is.
No.
I don't know. Yeah,
Anybody?
I don't know.
Is it spooky?
Yeah, if it's spooky, we should think about answering it. Ooh. Yeah, send us a link. Put it on the Discord and I'll send it to the dudes.
I see it. It's inside the actor's studio questions.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's a good. That would be a good thing for Pat's Punk Playhouse to do on their first podcast. You could do inside the actor's studio for everybody.
the guy who runs that's James Lipton, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I loved his little cameo on the old Arrested Development show as the warden of the prison.
Yeah.
He was hysterical in that role. I loved it.
So speaking of the Discord, hey, we got a Discord. We had a bunch of people asking us to start one up, and my response to that was like, oh. And it wasn't because I'm anti-Discord. It's because, like, we got a YouTube and a Patreon and a Facebook and a Twitter and an Instagram. And, I mean, like, you name it. Like, we're basically on the internet. And I just felt weird about doing another thing. And so I said, hey, if somebody else wants to do it, you can start it up. But a bunch of people came and they said, hey, we'll admin it. We'll be moderators. So we started it up. And a bunch of people chipped in and helped and made it awesome. Actually, Joe, Dr. Vitus, jumped in and whipped the channel up into shape with the help of the other moderators that were there, and it's actually been really fun.
Yeah.
I really like hanging out there. Yeah.
I actually was at work the other day, and Joe stopped by and said hi, and I was like, "Oh, what can I do for you, sir?" And I didn't recognize him. He colored his hair.
He has blonde hair. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know if he's preparing for that new cyberpunk game or what, but
Probably.
Yeah.
Did you hear that got delayed again? Cyberpunk?
No, I guess it doesn't surprise me, but that's too bad.
I'm really looking forward to that game, but yeah, it's like the delays are it's tough. It's tough.
How long do we have to wait now to see Keanu Reeves? Jesus.
I know.
Anyway,
If
but
you're as good as Witcher 3, it'll be worth it.
I know, right? Same studio, but right?
Yeah, CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, Project Red. Yeah, he was telling me. He sent me a text. He's like, we should catch up sometime on Discord, and I was like, oh, okay. Not in a bad way, but I just I don't really use Discord much.
You got to jump in there. There's no less than 5 Aki emojis in there. Including you remember that picture we took at Larry's house where we were all like doing the pose in front of the TV, and your face kind of went to the side like maybe you don't remember it, but anyway, I snipped.
Is that where we played in that basement with the Ren Fair?
Yeah, at Larry's Ren Fair. But anyway, I snipped your face out of there and I turned it into emoji, and a lot of people really like it.
It's exactly what he wanted to hear right at that moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's fun though.
I went on the Discord Sunday morning before the Final Fantasy thing, because I was just like poking around, like, all right, goddammit, I'm gonna see what this is all about, and I'm just like pushing buttons and seeing what happens because I have no idea what's going on. And then I'm like, finally, I just got off of it, and then you confirmed later on, Ty, that it's like, is that Baron? Is that actually Baron? Or is that just some guy named Baron? Is that some, like some guy with the name Baron? Like, so for the record, that was actually me, and I will go back on there at some point.
Well,
in some capacity.
Part of the reason we were asking is because we've got like a band members only like chat room, and we're like, oh, should we put Baron in here? Or, like, I gotta figure out if that's actually Brian or not. Like, you know.
Yes, it was actually me.
It's the man. So anyway, yeah, everybody who's watching, get on the Discord, come chat with us. We have some fun. We share a bunch of fun metal music, and it's a good time. All right. Well, there's a bunch of stuff, a bunch of quick things before we get to the spookiness that I want to just touch on real quick. So if you're, you know, it's always fun because I don't know about you guys, but like at the end of the month, I always kind of am sitting here questioning, like, man, what did we actually accomplish this month? Like, you know, it feels like we didn't do much of anything with COVID and everything. And then you go and you make this list for the podcast of, like, you know, you go back and you look at what we actually did. And you're like, holy shit! Like, okay, all right, we did some stuff this month, I guess.
Ty, you're one of the most industrious people I know. I don't think you ever have to worry about not producing much.
Yeah, I just have like a short-term memory of, like, you know, well, I guess I bought some flamethrowers. That was about it. You know, it's like, Ty, that was 3 days ago. I'm like, oh, right, okay, cool. We came out with a cover of Jimmy Webb's Highwayman. That I was on. Actually, it was Mega Colossus that put that all together. And there was a bunch of guest singers. I was one of them. And I think it turned out really cool. That's up on the Patreon. You can also search Mega Colossus Highwayman on Google, and you can find it. We got that going out there. I also, myself and a bunch of other musicians from the U.S. power metal community cameoed in Helion Prime's Question Everything music video, which was really fun to do. I don't know, it was so much fun to see so many people that I knew and that I was like friends with in the same music video. It was just very, it's a hard feeling to describe when, like, everybody is like, you know, you're all friends, and then all of a sudden you see like 20 people you know in the same music video. It's just fun. So go check that out. There is they just dropped their new album, and it is also out on, they just said it was out on Ward Music in Japan, so that's kind of cool. So if you're watching from Japan, go down to your local Sam Goody and pick it up. We finished the acoustic album finally. The second acoustic album is Dunzo. It has been mastered. It is absolutely done. It's going to be in the mail for all of the $8 plus Patreon backers before the end of the year. We're just waiting on artwork right now. But it is absolutely done, and you will get it before the end of the year. We absolutely promise you that. And it's going to come for people who are pledging $10 or more. It's going to come with your last Patreon exclusive shirt, the Corpse Killer shirt. Let me pull up the, there it is. The Corpse Killer shirt. The design done by our good friend Trav Hart. So if you want to grab a shirt, you can actually still get this. Sign up at the $10 level on our Patreon. We are not going to be selling these. This is Patreon only. So if you've been watching our Sega CD streams and you want to commemorate the amazingness that is Corpse Killer, make sure you sign up for the $10 level, and we'll get the shirt out to you before the end of the year. That's going to come together with the album. So that is coming out here. We also dropped the Deathlehem reaction video. If you haven't if you haven't seen the Deathlehem music video for Escape from Wolf Mountain, they basically, more or less, it's basically like they got somebody from Robot Chicken to make their music video.
It's really impressive, actually. Like the job that guy did with the claymation.
Well, and the music, like the full package is top tier.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were the first people in the world to see that music video.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. They showed it to us before anyone else. So I absolutely honored to be able to see everybody's claymation sculpted butt before the world got to see it. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic. Go check that. We did a reaction video to that. Go check that out. Pass Plunk Playhouse with another $2. Everybody drink. Check out Johnny Lessons by Deep Veins. Thank you. Thank you, Pat. Oh. So that happened. And I guess right. So I talked about this before, but we did. Youth Pastor Greg came out back from the hospital. So he came back again. If you haven't checked that out, make sure to go to youtube.com/Lords of the Trident.
That poor guy has no luck. What can you say?
It's just bad. Lords of the Trident.church and Lords of the Trident.sexy are live right now. So if you want to, if you want to join our congregation, or if you want to get a little sexy with us, go to Lords of the Trident.church or Lords of the Trident.sexy.
Coming soon, Lords of the Trident.insurance adjusters.
Yeah. So yeah, check that out. But the big thing that was announcing, and I talked about it earlier in the podcast, but quarantine karaoke, drunken quarantine karaoke is coming back November 28th. Mark your calendars. It's not Thanksgiving. It's not Black Friday. It's not Satiated Sunday. It's Supernatural Saturday, or let's call it Sloshy Saturday, because it's going to be a slosh fest. Last time I sang for 5 hours and 14 minutes, and we raised over $1,200 for charity. Who knows what's going to happen this time? Every time I wake up the next morning, I feel terrible and great at the same time. So, it's like, yay, I did it. I wish I didn't, but I did it.
I think I can say your drunk karaoke has been the most popular feature of all the things we've offered in the last 7 months.
Yeah.
I think that's an accurate statement.
Yeah, I would say so too. Joseph said, "We want the meaty Mercury with 100 bits." Cheers to Joseph.
Cheers.
Meaty Mercury.
So. Right, that's a good transition to my last thing that I wanted to just touch on quickly. So I made a video, and a lot of you have seen it. In fact, some of you may be here just because of that video. But I made a cover of, so early in the pandemic, I entered in a singing competition. It was a statewide singing competition, and from the description, they said, we want you to sing 2 songs. They can be any genre, any style, whatever you want, but we just want you to sing 2 songs. But from the description, it kind of sounded like they were looking for people to sing opera, which I'm like, okay, I've been taking opera lessons for a couple years. Like, let's give this a go. But I thought it would be fun to do kind of a different, I was going to do an opera song and then something else. So I sang a really, 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 really hard aria that has like a 5-second long C5 at the end of it. And it took me like 4 hours to do this thing, to have a good take. Because, you couldn't futz with the audio in post. It's had to be live. So I did that. And then I also did about an hour doing a cover of Queen's Somebody to Love, which is one of my favorite karaoke songs of all time. And then a day before the contest was supposed to conclude, and they were going to judge people, they canceled the whole thing without any warning, and they didn't say why. And that was
spooky.
And it was in July.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was really shitty, because I spent so much time doing this, and so I decided, I've been doing a bunch of these power converter covers lately, and I decided, I'll just take the footage that I've got, and then I'll shoot a couple of B-roll things of me playing it on the piano, and and we'll put it together into a video, and we'll just whatever. We'll just put it out in between doing power metal covers. And Des, who's actually, I think she's still in the chat, helped me put it up on Reddit because my account is cursed, and anytime I try to post something, it is, dead immediately, downvoted to oblivion. But it went to the front page of our videos. Again, that's the third time during the whole pandemic. Stocks are up. Let me see those stock emojis in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, because Scott, Lords of the Trident stocks are up. And this was the most popular video that we had put out that got to the front page of Reddit. It got 65,000 views in 48 hours, almost eclipsing Death Dealer, which is right now our #1 most viewed video, which is insane to me. And I kind of wanted it to stop because I'm like, no, I don't want a Queen cover to be our #1 song on the YouTube. I'd really like it to be our own music. But I'm still happy. I'm still happy that it happened.
Take the hits where you can get them.
Right. So
and it'll be what it'll be. You can't exactly control that.
Right.
Either. So, but yeah, it's wonderful.
So we got about 500 subscribers from that one video, and so now we're about 800 subscribers from our year-end goal. So if you're watching this and you are not subscribed, go hit that subscribe button right now.
If you're 800 people watching this, hit that subscribe button.
Yeah.
If you are 800 people.
If you have 800 alternate accounts, please sign into all of them one at a time and subscribe. But yeah, we're almost, our year-end goal is 10,000 subscribers, and we're almost there. We're a lot closer than I thought we'd be just because of that Queen video, so that's cool. Hey, we got a $10 super chat from Jinx. Whoever needs to hear this, no matter your skin color, your gender, your sexuality, you are valid and you matter. You are important and loved. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Jinx. Cheers.
Cheers.
Way to go.
So that was wild. That was a wild ride. And a lot of people liked it. A lot of people showed up. It was for a good cause. So.
We're not a very good product. I believe in it.
It's a very good product. So that was the small things. I guess the one last thing that I can tell you about is I bought some flamethrowers online from Walmart.com, and they were shipped from Children's Cancer Centers of America. Now you might be saying, why? What did you just say? Did I have a stroke? I think I might have just had a stroke because I didn't understand any of that. Well, let me just ease your mind here. If you look at my camera here, I found out when I got them. It's not they're not a flamethrower, right? Look at the manual. It says it's a fire spraying machine. So it's not a flamethrower. It's a fire spraying machine. Hashtag not a flamethrower. And on the first page of the manual, right, it still says #1 account, right? You can read it right here. #1 account. The flamethrower. Oh no. It says flamethrower right away on the first line. The flamethrower is one of the stage effect equipment fitted with the special flame oil. The flame it sprays can be long as 3M it. Wonderful to set off the stage atmosphere and make the wink effect. The flamethrower is suitable in the many kinds of the play for the theater or stadium and suitable for the troupe. It must be met, the condition below. Warning, the product sprays fire. The spray must upward. Never place incline. It must be placed complete horizontally. 1.2 characteristic reliability, highly resistant facility use, upkeep easily, adaptability well, always work stable with the rated condition, hard to shortcut, anti-interference, accord with the first degree of. So, that answered all my questions.
That is amazing.
Words to live by.
Yeah.
A jumble of stuff that kind of resembles something.
I showed that to Heidi, when they came in the mail, and I'm like, see, Heidi, it's not a flamethrower, it's a fire spraying device. And then she read the instruction manual, and she's like, this makes me more nervous.
That's amazing.
It worked.
Yeah, it did work. We shot some sick footy with it. and I haven't spoiled any of the sick footy yet. Although I may, for the people on the behind the scenes Patreon, I might in the next couple days spoil some of the sick footy because it's so sick. I want to show you this footy. I should have bought flamethrowers years ago. That looks amazing. You know?
Yeah.
And
pretty tactical miscalculation on your part, Mr. Ty.
Brett and Brent came and helped me out. Brent did the filming and Brett did the fire spraying machine operation. Do you guys want to talk about like how that worked, how you felt about it? Oh, Michi came up.
It was super fun. I mean, especially being able to play with fire like, from a decently safe distance, but you know, with you being pretty close and there's always that looming like, am I going to start them on fire? I'm going to start them on fire? Maybe. But no, it was super fun. I mean, there are definitely points where there were like little droplets of fire that would like fall because it like sprayed too much liquid and didn't completely combust all the way and like fall on the cords and stuff. And sitting back, you're just like, hope this doesn't go totally horribly wrong. But it was all fun.
And the only time I really felt concerned was like when Ty was spinning the fire poi thing, which he actually used to do during shows. And that too, so it's like a flaming ball that's spinning and like sometimes little bits of like lighter fluid or whatever will fly off. And it's just like, I hope I'm not on fire right now. But never have been, which is kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's nice to see it from a distance without being hit by the flame.
No, it looks great.
Without being singed.
I mean, I think
Torched.
the fuel was probably the most entertaining aspect with it. Just cans of brake fluid. Or no, was it?
Engine starter fluid. Yeah. So the interesting thing about the flamethrower is that they ran on like I went down to an auto parts store and I bought like 8 cans of starter fluid, thinking that this is gonna last me like for the music video shoot, and then maybe I'll just have 4 or 5 cans kind of lying around so that if I wanted to do something in the future I could do it. Nope. We went through all 8 cans. It like a can lasted us like maybe 2 5-minute shots, 2 5-minute videos. And it was gone. Like I was surprised at how much fuel we went through.
My cans, my precious cans.
We were using a lot of fire for each of those videos, but
yeah,
maybe if we used it a little bit more sparingly, it would have obviously lasted longer. But there was a lot of fire in that video, so
there was a lot of fire in that video.
Sparingly is not in the Lord's vocabulary.
That's true. That's true. You know what I'm gonna do right now? I'm gonna spoil a little bit of it, just like 5 seconds for the people who are here right now. I'm gonna reward the people who are tuning in right now with a little bit of
St. Elmo's fire.
Yeah, of sick footy. Here you go, guys. This is some not even the behind the scenes Patreon backers have seen this. You guys get to see this right now for the first time. Bada bing, bada bam.
Buddha Buddha ba.
Buddha ba. There you go. That's some sick footy right there. Look at that.
I don't have to wait for it in the playback, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's wonderful, but
anyway, there you go. There's your sick footy. That's a super duper sneak peek for all of you. So, thank you for being here tonight.
What you don't realize is that Ty actually caught fire this night, but he's like a phoenix, so he just kind of by the next morning he was okay again. He just reanimated himself.
Right.
Did you say he used a phoenix down, Brian?
Oh, there's a perfect segue. Thank you, Brent, to the Brian solo shred sessions that we did this last Sunday, the Final Fantasy shred. Brian, talk about your Final Fantasy shred.
It went pretty well. It was what I did with my life for quite a while there. I would say I spent at least 150 hours on it. And yeah, in a very real sense, I played 13 total songs. 9 of those songs were brand new, that complete debuts that I had never performed before. So in a very real sense, I kind of wrote and performed a full new album in a month and a half, which is pretty wild, like looking back at it. But that's kind of how it rolled. So yeah, I'm gonna not do anything for the next few days now.
Well, you
it
deserved it.
It went overall, it went really well. I'm pleased with how I played. I'm very pleased with the amount of attendance I had and the incredibly generous donations from a ton of people that we were able to send a nice little check over to Community Shares of Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you again. If you want to watch, it is still available. Just head over to the Lord's YouTube and click on the link, and you can still check it out and see what it was all about. My next one will be the end of December. So I'm trying to think of the exact date on that. I believe that's going to be the 28th, either the 28th or the 29th.
And it's all going to be Christmas themed. It's Christmas shred. Brian's going to be wearing.
It is not going to be Christmas themed.
He's going to be wearing a Santa beard the whole time he's shredding. It's going to be great.
Here's my thing. There. I'll specify this, and then we'll move on. There's a little bit of Christmas music I like, but you're so inundated with it, and it's crammed down everyone's throat so hard for starting probably tomorrow, that if I'm going to perform in December, I'm actually not going to do much Christmas music.
That's fair.
Because since everyone else is doing it, I'm going to take the less traveled path and provide you some ear cleaning alternative. My tentative plan is to actually do another video game one. This one will not be Final Fantasy based, but this will be very similar to my June set, for those of you who saw that. So more video game with accompanying video. I want to replay and give another shot at some of those ones that I performed back in June. Now that we've refined our process, we've refined the tones, we've refined the production, and I know to not pound beers to try to cure my nervousness. But I want to give some of those tunes another crack and maybe give them a better shot now that now that I'm personally more comfortable with the streaming process, and debut some more new stuff as well. But in the meantime, then, since you are going to take the reins and do karaoke at the end of the month, I can sink my teeth into developing a few more tunes for the band for the new record. Because what I've found out is that I can focus on preparing for a podcast or for a live stream, or I can focus on new band stuff, but it's pretty hard to do both. I can't multitask that much, I guess, for better or for worse. So now I can shift gears and spend the next month or so and see if I can turn out some new demos for the new record. Yeah.
Well, before we go on, real quick, Avalon Nith has cheered 300 bits. Sick footy, everybody drink, yay!
Thank you.
And I
don't really know what bits are still, but I appreciate it.
300 bits is like $3, basically. And I am currently cashed on beer, so I want to talk
like 92,000 ruples.
Exactly. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the live stream birthday concert that we did on the 14th of October of this month. Especially the marshmallow chasing with terrible whiskey. But I have to get another beer, so why don't you guys take it away, and I'm going to quick run over and grab another beer. So ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Talk about the concert. Go.
Talk about the concert. Which concert? The one that the one that was a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had like marshmallows and some other thing.
Oh, yes.
Whiskey.
The cold cock followed by the Lucky Charms marshmallows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good work, Ty.
Well, he's gone. But I don't know what to say. We played. I mean,
Was that the
of new material? We played Charlatan and Champions.
oh yeah,
we played Champions like kind of live per se? I know we played it for I voted, but
we should for that tune though. A little bit of inside chat for everybody here. We should re-examine the new lyrics and maybe come up with champions of blank or something champions. Like maybe come up with a slightly more effective title for that tune.
did you make up that title?
Yeah, that it was just a generic champion.
Yeah.
So we should refine that title and make it a little more meaningful based on the latest lyrics Ty has for that.
I will say, or
maybe just ditch the champions thing altogether. It's really just kind of a working title, but I like it.
Well, now it's in the chorus. It's like
I will say,
but refine it.
I'm a cooking up a something. I'm a cooking up a something is what I will say with something. It hasn't really come. It's close to coming to a fully safe to eat temperature in the center of the meat, but it's getting there. But I'm a cooking up a something. So yeah, I Brian, I hear what you're saying. I think when I bring out the what is it, the that Gordon Ramsay likes to make all the time, the
Beef Wellington.
Yes, when I take out the beef Wellington, I want to make sure that it's perfectly medium rare in the center. I don't want to take it out a little too early, So I'm still keeping some things close to my chest, but I will say I'm a cooking up a something.
Are you talking about champions specifically?
Nope.
Or...
But yes, but no, but sort of.
That could mean just about anything.
Yeah.
That's all right. It's good to keep them wanting more, right?
Yeah.
It's just in Ty's doing something. Holy shit.
Watch out. I mean, remember
Cool.
the last time the last time you left me to my own devices, I learned how to build my own leather armor, and I bought a half of a cow, so
Dude, get a meat thermometer. I love it. It reminds me of from Archer. From those of you who have watched Archer, they had Anthony Bourdain guest on that one show. Like a la Gordon Ramsay, and his show was called Asshole Chef, where he just basically the whole show is him yelling at everybody. That was priceless. I laughed so hard at that. Highly recommend checking that one out if you haven't. Watch Archer if you haven't yet. It's pretty great.
I haven't watched the new one yet. I heard that one is in space or something like that. So
I guess I haven't seen that one either. But
yeah. One thing that I learned from the live stream, the last live stream, is that you shouldn't eat marshmallows if you're wearing leather gloves.
That was the caveat, not the whiskey then marshmallows. Although I'm sure that's also delightful.
It was horrible. I would never do that again. But yeah, I woke up the next morning and I had to clean my gloves for I don't know, 15 minutes straight to just scrub off all of the marshmallowy bits off of the gloves. So it's ew, don't I'll never eat marshmallows with leather gloves ever again. So
words to live by.
Yeah. But yeah, I personally thought that one was probably our best in terms of tightness and the sound and everything. I think that one was our best so far, really. So
that's what you wanted us to talk about.
Well,
yeah.
How
we derailed from that pretty good.
Yeah, how did you feel about how it went, everyone?
I rewatched the whole thing, and I think it went pretty well.
Yeah,
I think we played decent.
I'm trying to. I can't. I can barely remember it at this point.
Right.
It must have been amazing.
Yeah.
At one point, we didn't eat it till later, but there was still cake.
Oh yeah, cake.
And I played Eruption. That went pretty well. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Now I remember.
the people online really loved that eruption cover. So, all right, well, we did it. That is the consensus. Everybody loved it, and it was perfect. Aki's like, sure. You can see it in his eyes. He's got that one eyebrow up. I know what that means.
You can see it in your eyebrows.
Hey, $5 from Johnny Earls. Thank you, Johnny. Cheers.
Cheers.
Woo. All right. So finally, to kind of round out the night, I want, since this is the spookiest, most bone-chilling podcast on the internet right now, since everyone is going to be waking up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat, clutching their chest, waking up from a lucid nightmare where a barbarian is holding a knife to their throat. I want to know what everybody's favorite spooky games and movies that they've watched this month are. And I know Aki's got the good stuff. So while everybody else is thinking about this, Aki, lay it on me, man. I want to know.
Sure. I don't know if I saw anything you didn't see already. So I've been trying to every week watch at least a few horror movies leading into Halloween, as horror is probably one of my favorite genres. So currently I was like on a vampire kick, and I watched it was kind of a B movie, but I watched 30 Days a Night, and I watched Daybreakers, which actually is pretty decent, I think. Not perfect, but it's fun to watch. Probably the best horror film I saw in the last month. I really enjoyed it. It's called The Loved Ones. It's an Australian horror. It's
Ooh.
by the guy who did Devil's Candy, which I actually haven't watched yet. But it's kind of, I know this is really weird, it's kind of a mix of like a teenage rom-com and a horror film. But it's really good. I believe the Rotten Tomatoes score, the aggregate score is like 98%. It's really, really good. It's actually very dark and very gory. So the only other Australian horror film I've ever seen actually was Wolf Creek, which I actually watched with Ty, and it's okay. It's that film's also actually pretty dark and disturbing. This one made me think a little bit about the kind of gore that again, Ty and I, we watched this, but Hot Tension or High Tension in the United States, which is kind of French new wave horror with extreme violence. That film had a scene with a concrete saw against human skin.
Yeah.
And this film, I had a bad feeling because on the front cover, there's this lady with a drill. And I had a bad feeling I was going to have to see drill on human skin. A drill being used on someone. And luckily, they didn't show too much. But aside from the gore, it's actually a very good film. I don't want to ruin it, but long story short, a guy at school says no to a girl when she asks him out to the prom, and she abducts him. And yeah, but it's a really good film. I really enjoyed it, and that was called The Loved Ones, and I think it came out in like 2008 or 9. And I don't think I'm going to see a horror film leading into Halloween that will top that. I will say I've not seen The Haunting of Bly Manor yet. I'm excited to see it, but I also am tempered in my expectations because it's only the first episode that's directed by Michael Flanagan, the awesome horror director that did The Haunting of Hill House and also did a number of great horror films like Oculus and the prequel to Ouija, the Origin of Evil one. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking. That's
that's great.
My guess for the horror.
You don't have to stop. You have significantly more to say on this topic than I think any of the rest of us do. So that's
Yeah, I'm
okay.
sorry. I'm just really passionate about film and horror. But I do think Michael Flanagan is kind of the most. I think he's one of the top recent horror directors. I still need to see Doctor Sleep, which is.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys know this in the band, but so I didn't know this. One of the scariest films I've ever seen in my life is The Shining, and maybe it's because I've only seen it once, and I saw it when I was like maybe 14 years old, like I was in like middle school or whatever. But I didn't know.
Wait. Sorry, Aki, you haven't seen it since you were 14?
No. I still remember I saw it
Oh.
with my childhood best friends Dan and Tom, and I found it terrifying. And I saw the whole thing, but it's really scary. And I never knew that Stephen King actually wrote a sequel, and it's Doctor Sleep. And I'm told that this film is really good and is very faithful to the book, and it's really good, and it's directed by Michael Flanagan. And so that and Haunting of Bly Manor are high up on my list of horror films to watch. I'm also hoping to watch The Wailing before.
Oh yeah.
Before Halloween, as also that one also considered one of the best Korean horror films.
It's
So-
really good. It's really.
I'm glad to hear.
We had a question in the chat. Gerald's Game, maybe my favorite Flanagan movie. Aki, have you seen Gerald's Game?
I haven't, and that one, yeah, I saw it was also directed by Michael Flanagan. I haven't watched that one. I do want to watch it. I know this sounds funny, but certain horror films I need to be like in a certain mood for.
Yeah.
And I know the premise of it. It's like, this husband and wife, they're maybe trying the romantic getaway, maybe trying to respark their love life, and she's handcuffed to the bed, and then I think the husband dies, and all of a sudden she's alone, handcuffed to a bed. The premise is interesting. I do want to watch it, but I think I know it sounds funny, but I need to be in a mood for a certain film. Like, for example, I really like foreign films, but I need to be in a mood to be willing to see subtitles. And similarly, like that kind of film, I need to be in a mood for. Whereas like any day, like, Ty, if you were like, Aki, do you want to watch, the flawed but super watchable remake of Dawn of the Dead? I'll be like, yes, any day. But like some other films,
that's how I talk too.
Exactly. He's not like on the podcast anyway, but but yeah, I need to be in the mood for it.
I'll add this. I'm as far as Gerald's Game go, I have not seen the movie, but I did. I was on a Stephen King kick in high school, and I read a lot of Stephen King, including Gerald's Game. And I don't know if I could watch the movie, to be honest. The premise is that this lady ends up chained and kind of helpless to the helplessly tied to the bed for days, or at least for a very long time before someone actually finds her. And midnight, somewhere in the middle of the night, she wakes up and she thinks she sees someone in the corner watching her, but she's not sure if it's real or just her imagination. It turns out there is someone there actually watching her. But as someone like me who suffers from night terrors very badly, who has vivid dreams most nights, who wakes up and sees things in the night that aren't actually there, I don't know if I could watch it. I don't think I could do it because I experience that sort of shit. Not every night, but many nights. And that's a little too close to home, I guess. I don't know what to say. So beyond that, my favorite Halloween movie would be the Garfield Halloween special.
I love it.
Funny, Brian. I still, it's so funny. Like in one's life, a lot of times you think like certain breathtaking memories you're going to like hold vividly, but a lot of times it's those little random things that you somehow remember like super crystal clear. And oddly enough, one of the most crystalline moments I have in our touring over the last few years was you had just told me that you often have night terrors, and we were staying at Doug's place. Great guy, had lots of naked cats for some reason. But anyway, we were staying at his place, and we were getting ready. We were waking up, and they had donuts, and we needed to get dressed and fold up our beds. And we went. You had me go up to the upstairs to check in on Brian, and I don't know if it was Brent or Brett that was up there, and
Might have been Alejandro.
Cilantro, yes. And and anyway, I don't know if it was me, but like we shook you awake, and you woke up, and you didn't say anything. You didn't go like but you just woke up, and your eyes were like, you went like, and then you just like went back to normal. But like for like 1.5 seconds, your eyes were like super wide. And I was like, oh my God, I bet he just had like a terrible nightmare or something.
Considering I have no memory of what you're talking about, I don't know. But it sounds like some stupid crap I do when I wake up.
I can't get that memory out of my head.
He woke up and he saw.
I actually didn't know that story. That's interesting.
I remember the disturbing the cat's butthole, and then you waking up.
He woke up and he saw the totality of all the notes he ever played, and he was like, Great.
Yeah, where do we go from there, right?
Well, I saw a couple of movies. A couple of people in the chat were talking about Bly Manor. I haven't finished it yet, but I got through maybe 7 or 8 episodes, so I'm pretty close to the end. It's slow. It's a slow burn. It's not as good as Hill House, in my opinion. The first episode was great. There was a lot of stuff in the first episode that I caught like in the corners of the frame that I don't know if they get resolved in the end. I'm gonna have to finish it, and I will finish it before October. But I don't know. It didn't captivate me as much as Hill House did, where I just like wanted to binge the whole damn thing. It's been very slow. So yeah. I will go back to it. I can't say yet whether or not I would recommend people watch it or not, but one that I would recommend people watch. My neighbors and I have been doing a Zoom a spooky movie watching every Thursday during October, and I rewatched probably for the first time in I don't know, maybe upwards of 15 years the movie Candyman.
Yeah.
And man, what an amazingly good movie, and like incredibly just an interesting perspective, like for its time when it came out. It plays with so much of the tropes of like slasher films. My neighbor had never seen it, and so he was just absolutely blown away at how it played with like your expectation on the slasher tropes, and how it dealt with like I guess at that time it probably would have been like, people would say like the more urban side of like urban legends, right? Amazing stuff. I really, really love that movie. It was fantastic. I'd highly recommend seeing it again. We also rewatched Cabin in the Woods, which is obviously one of our, collectively on the neighborhood, one of our all-time favorites. So that was
this is so funny. I was just about to make a comment about tropes and Cabin in the Woods. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Brett, what were you gonna say?
I still need to see that. We were very close to
what?
watching it.
You haven't seen it yet?
No.
Even I've seen it.
I would say even if you don't like horror, you will really like Cabin in the Woods. Like it's a fun film.
Yeah. It's a horror movie for everybody. Like that movie is amazing. It's so
You'll
good.
actually watch the first 10 minutes, and when the title screen comes up, you'll be like, "What the hell am I watching?"
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's Chris Hemsworth in it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like we you know, rewatching it now, you're like, oh, Thor is here. What's going on? And then the last movie, the last scary thing that I've watched recently that I can remember for the podcast was actually previous to October. I watched this movie called Beyond the Black Rainbow. Aki, have you heard of this one?
I have not actually.
It's really the best way I can describe it is it's like really, really, really arty. Like it's an art film. You know, it's an art horror film. The cinematography of Beyond the Black Rainbow is stellar. The story is weird. Like an impressionist German art student, you know, made this story basically. You know, he's like, I want to tell a story of how the human soul gets corrupted, and made this story. It's weird, but the at least like the shots and the cinematography are really, really cool. It's not a movie for everybody. I left that movie kind of feeling like, you know, maybe underwhelmed is not the right way to say it, but it's just sort of like it felt like a movie that I needed to think about for like the next week and come back to, you know.
Huh.
So
can I ask your thoughts? Because I think you brought it up last year, but now that it's been a year, you know. Do you recommend that we, myself and the viewers, check out Midsummer?
Yes. Holy shit, yes. Both of those Ari Aster films, and actually Truffle 85 just brought up.
Oh wow, yeah, I just saw. Anyone seen Hereditary? Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I really enjoyed Hereditary.
Hereditary was easily in my top 5 horror movies of the last 10 years. Easily. I loved that film. That film was amazing. And Midsummer was, I felt like it was good in a different way. I think Hereditary is better, but man, Midsummer was done so well. Oh my god, I love that film. Both of those films were really, really good. Really good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Midsummer's crazy.
Good night, Larry. Good night,
Liv.
Moon.
It's like psychological mind mess. It's insane. I mean, it kind of leaves you feel kind of just almost gross and bad when you're done watching it.
Right.
It's a good one though.
Yeah, I really loved it. So those were the spooky movies that I watched recently. I did play a bunch of spooky games, which I will just kind of touch on. I know we're getting a little late in the night here, so I'm just going to touch on these real quick. I just bought Carrion. It's a pixel art kind of like stealth game where you play as like it's a game like you're the monster from The Thing, basically, and you're trying to escape this science laboratory, and you go around going through vents and like, you know, killing unsuspecting scientists and finding new vials of ways to like mutate yourself. And it's actually pretty fun. It's a fun, visceral game that, you know, and it's like short. I think I put like 8 hours into it. I'm at the last level. Haven't
I
completed
literally
it yet.
watched a review of that like 2 days ago.
Yeah, I liked it. You know, it's not it's not like especially groundbreaking, but I liked what they did with it. You know, especially the art style. It was really fun. I just finished the new Amnesia game. Last night I just finished it. Amnesia Rebirth from Frictional Games, the people who brought you the original Amnesia game, as well as if people haven't played the Penumbra series, you got to go back and play Penumbra, because there's 3 games in that series and they're really, really good, all of them. But Amnesia Rebirth, it's not as good as the original Amnesia, but it's a very like spiritual successor to it, and it does interesting things with like the story that I think more games should do. It's really heavily story focused. It actually starts off the game by saying, do not attempt to win this game. Like, play it for the story, but don't play it to win, which is interesting.
Yeah, I'd heard in seeing a couple of reviews on YouTube is that it's the story is strong, but for better or worse, it's significantly lighter on the scares.
Yeah, I would say so too. Hey, $5 from Johnny. Good night, Johnny. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Appreciate it.
Cheers. Yeah, it's lighter on the scares. I did enjoy the story. It was a little disjointed at first. It really kind of came together in the end. It's not, like a lot of recent horror games, you don't really get a fully happy ending or a fully like concluded ending. It's not like an American horror ending, is what I'll say. So, would I recommend? I'd give it like a 6.9 out of 10. Not quite a 7, but it was really fun. I would recommend people play it, but it's not going to be like their game of the year. So
I oddly enough liked the ending of Amnesia, the good ending, even if you didn't see anything.
Right. Yeah, the original Amnesia, if you haven't played it, is amazing. A couple of people in the Avaloneth in the chat brought up Soma. Soma was great. Soma was an amazing game. Go play that. I also played a game called Home, which is a real quick kind of pixel art game. I think it took me like 2 hours to finish, and it's interesting that it gives you many opportunities to branch. Like, it has so many endings that it gives you many opportunities to branch off into different endings depending on how like crazy you want it to go. I thought it was really well done, and it's super cheap right now, so grab that. I played Bendy and the Ink Machine. That one was okay. That one was more of like a 5 out of 10. Some good pop-up scares, interesting idea, kind of gets a little repetitive. It's like you're stuck in like a 1930s Mickey Mouse world of, where like an evil character has come to life from like the ink that they used to make the cartoon, and is like chasing you through the halls. It's interesting. I didn't finish it. I kind of got a little bored with it, but it was overall pretty good. The best one out of all of these that I played was Alien Isolation, which I know I'm late to the party on this one, but that one was really, really good, and really hard too. God, I got killed so many times by the alien. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was medical labs.
Yeah. So, Blasphemous. Right, I played that last year. Avaloneth talked about that in the chat. Blasphemous. Oh my God, that ticked all my boxes.
I literally brought that up when we were talking before.
Yeah, that game. That is one of my favorite games. Weird Christian, like weird Christian archetypal, religious imagery that is like twisted. That checks my box. 2D platformer, Metroidvania. Oh my God, yes. Really difficult gameplay that you can get better, and I'm like, oh God, it was so good. I loved.
I think I watched you play a couple of levels of that.
Yeah. I would, if anybody is looking for like one game to do right now, and they haven't played Blasphemous, get on that right now. Buy that game. Holy cow. So, how How about you guys? Any other scary movies, scary games, anything you want to add to the conversation?
I've been playing Left 4 Dead 2 again, and it aged really well, I would say. Like, it's still
I
really good.
never tire of that game, and they recently added some updates. Actually.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so that's the spookiest game I've played lately.
Ooh.
I've been hardcore playing Ghost of Tsushima. That has Ghost in the title. Spooky.
How is that? Do you like that?
Oh my god, I don't know. It's probably one of the best games I've played. It's just super interesting and so easy to get into, and the story is, I think, really well done. The gameplay is great. It's beautiful. And it's a really great job.
Cool. I for being the gamer that I am, I don't have a PlayStation any newer than PlayStation 2. So, which, I know a lot of people will gasp at. But I do plan on getting the new PlayStation 5. I really want to play the Uncharted games. So that's my plan. Is I'm planning on for Christmas I'm going to buy myself a PlayStation 5 and get all the Uncharted games and play the remasters and all that sort of stuff. So, Devi asked, "Did you play Among the Sleep?" Yes, I did. I played that a little bit. I thought it was generally good. Didn't finish it, but I did, dip my toe into it for a couple hours, and it was pretty good. Resident Evil 8 in VR. I'd love to get Resident Evil in VR. That would be amazing. So
Resident Email 35 forwarded from PR, forwarded from HR.
Forwarded from Satan himself. Resident Email. Oh, all right. Well, let's see. Do you guys have any additional things that you want to add to the conversation? I got one more thing, but you guys, anything else?
I think I'm good. I think we covered all the things.
Any horrible, bone-chilling news that you want to scare the people with before they saunter off to their bed chambers?
No.
All right. Well, I will tell you one more thing. The bassist, the spooky bassist of Helion Prime and I and a bunch of other people, a bunch of other very spooky people will be playing Among Us. I believe it's the first I think it's the first weekend of November. We'll put something up on the Discord and on the website, and we'll post about it on Patreon. We're doing the Extra Life gameplay marathon to raise money for the Extra Life Foundation, which I think is children's cancer. We're going to be playing Among Us. We're going to be seeing who is sus and who is not. So I will put a link up to that. That's coming probably... I think it's the first weekend of November. Don't quote me on that. So we got that going. And then soon, more Power Converter, more Power Metal Opera battles, more additional things. I don't know.
More could less be more. Only more is more.
More spooky things. Will you guys ever play Phasmophobia? I've seen gameplay walkthroughs of that. Actually, like Video Game Donkey, I've watched his. And I'm thinking about playing that. I think that might be fun. So I will check that out. So, anyway, until next time, we shall see you in the dark and evil ether. And now, to bring us to an evil, terrible close, with his bone-chilling predictions of 2020, let us hear from the master of horror, the Duke of Destruction, the demonic force himself, Mr. Akira Shimada.
I was afraid the whole time
I'm going to mute my
who
microphone.
he was going to say.
Aki, tell us the most terrible, bone-chilling thing you can think of to close this stream out. Chill us to our very bone.
His mic broke.
Oh, you unplugged. And that is terrible because his microphone suddenly went out just as you just muted it. You just hit the mute button. Just as the killer was coming up behind him we were trying to warn him, but he couldn't shriek. He couldn't reach out for help because his microphone was accidentally muted. Accidentally. So therefore, the most scariest thing had to go to Brett. Ah!
He's a dog.
That is definitely spooky.
And the dog was at one time vaccinated against demonic beings, but is now okay.
There, you did it, Ty.
Okay. Well, everybody, I hope you had fun. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you. We'll see you in hell.
He's under his desk. I love it.
We'll see you in hell.